Hi students, welcome to DS Economics channel. Today we are going to discuss 2022 July Kerala State eligibility test economics previous year question. This is your part 3. In this part we are going to discuss from question number 81 to 120 question. This is your last part from 2022 July Kerala State. So those who come for the first time, please subscribe to this channel, and those who don't what was the previous videos, they can watch on the previous videos in the playlist. I have given the link of the playlist in the description box, so you can watch all the previous parts of the video. So let's start the video. Today's first question is question number 81. Identify the major features of VRR. So we have to identify the features of VRR. VRR means voluntary retention route. So the full form of VRR is voluntary retention route. So we have to find out what are the features of voluntary retention route. Its main objective is objective of attracting long-term and stable foreign portfolio investment into debt market. Then eligibility of any SEBI registered FPI to participate through this route. The total amount that can be invested via the VRR is decided by the RBI based on macro prudential consideration. Then the minimum retention period, which should be 5 years, or decided by the RBI for each auction. So first option is the objective of VRR channel is to attract long-term and stable FPI investment into debt market while providing FPI with operational flexibility to manage their investment. This is correct. Then second option, any entity registered as an FPI, foreign portfolio investment, with SEBI, Security Exchange Board of India, is eligible to participate through this route. This is also true. Then the total amount that may be invested via routes shall be decided by the Reserve Bank from time to time based on macro prudential consideration and assessment of investment demand. This is also true. Then fourth option, the minimum retention period shall be 5 years or as directed by RBI for each auction. So in the context of voluntary retention route, the specific retention period is crucial. However, the VRR does not mandate a blanket 5-year minimum retention period for all investment. Instead, the retention period can vary depending on the terms set by the RBI during each auction. So this means that while 5 years might be a possible retention period in some cases, it is not a fixed requirement for every auction or every investment under the VRR. So therefore point 4 could be seen as incorrect or misleading because it suggests a fixed 5-year minimum retention period, which is not uniformly applicable. So the correct understanding is that the retention period is flexible and determined by RBI on a case-by-case basis depending on the specific auction or investment condition. So here option 4 is incorrect. So the here option 1, 2, 3 are correct. So 1, 2, 3 are given in option number A. So A is correct according to the VRR, voluntary retention period. So voluntary retention route. Then next question number 82. Accession and reason based question. Accession is unbalanced growth strategy advocated investment in leading or core sector. Reason is development is a chain disequilibrium that must keep alive rather than eliminate the disequilibrium. So here accession is unbalanced growth strategy advocate investment in leading or core sector. This is true because the unbalanced growth strategy as proposed by economist Albert Hitzman suggests that focusing on key sector, leading or core sector, can stimulate growth in other sector through spillover effect. So here accession is correct. Then its reason is development is a chain disequilibrium that must keep alive rather than eliminate the disequilibrium. This is also true because the unbalanced growth theory suggests that economic development often occurs through a series of imbalances. So it is also true. By investing in leading sector, it creates positive imbalances or disequilibria that spur further development in other areas. So here reason accurately explain why the assertion is true. So here answer is A. Both A and R are correct, and R is the correct explanation of A. Then next question, question number 83. Here the top 5 countries from where FDI equity inflow was received during April 2014 to August 2021 is in descending order. So in descending order from larger to smaller, we have to arrange the FDI inflow, or we can say import FDI inflow. So largest FDI inflow is from Singapore. First one is Singapore, then USA, then Mauritius, then Netherlands, then last one is Japan. So here sequence D is right sequence. First FDI inflow, highest FDI inflow from Singapore, then USA, Mauritius, Netherlands and Japan. So question number 84, the idea of Bequa's effect was propounded by. So Bequa's effect was propounded by Gunnar Myrdal. So Gunnar Myrdal is the right option. Also option number C. What is Bequa's effect? Myrdal introduced this concept in the context of economic development, where he discussed how economic activities in more developed regions can have negative effect on less developed region by drawing away resources like labor, capital or even markets. So this phenomenon can be exacerbate regional inequality. So it creates Bequa's effect. So it is called, it was propounded by Gunnar Myrdal. Then question number 85, which of the following are the objectives of environmental impact study? So which are the objectives of environmental impact study? The first one is detailed presentation of the proposed project and its economic advantage and disadvantage. So a detailed presentation of proposed project and its economic advantage disadvantage is a common component of environmental impact study. So environmental impact study, or it is shortly says EIS, environmental impact study. So because it helps access the broader context in which environmental impact will be considered. So option 1 is correct. Then option 2, to identify and describe the elements of the community and the environmental likely to be affected by the proposed project. It is a core objective of environmental impact study, and as it helps understand who and what will be impacted. So option 2 is correct. Then option 3, to identify the adverse impact of the proposed project in major areas like air, water and other environmental services. It is a fundamental to the EIS as it aims to predict, access and mitigate negative environmental effects. So it is also correct. Then last option, to identify the profitability or economic gain from the proposed project. No, this is incorrect. So profitability or proposed project is not typically an objective of an environmental impact study. While economic factors might be considered, the primary focus of this project is on environmental and community impacts, not directly on profitability. So option 4 is incorrect. So 1, 2, 3 in the option A. So A is here. Sorry, 1, 2, 3 in the option number B. Option number B, 1, 2, 3 only. So option B is the right option here. Then question number 86. Question number 86. Money multiplier will increase when? Money multiplier increase when the banking habits of the people increases, increase in CRR, increase in SLR or increase in population. So statement 1 is the money multiplier will increase so when generally the banking habits of the people increases. When banking habits of the people increases, people save money in bank, and through the credit creation process, commercial banks create credit. So it is the money multiplier process will increase in this way. But when increase in CRR, money multiplier decrease, or money supply decrease, and increase SLR CRR, money multiplier decreases, and increase in population, they consume more amount of money, so it is also decrease the money multiplier. But when the banking habit of the people increases, it creates money multiplier or increase money multiplier. So A is the right option. Then question number 87, choose the correct statement regarding narrow money and broad money. So what is narrow money and broad money? So first one is narrow money is a measure of amount of money. Statement 1, narrow money is a measure of amount of money. This statement is incomplete and somewhat it is not correct. So while narrow money is indeed a measure of money, it doesn't specify what kind of money it measures, like the most liquid or least liquid. So it is not correct according to the narrow money and broad money. But second one, typically broad money refers to M2, M3 and M4. Yes, broad money include as M2, M3, M4, because in M3 time deposit, M2 post office saving, M4 M3 plus all the post office saving minus national saving certificate. So broad money are M2, M3 and M4. This is correct. Broad money includes a wider range of financial asset, including less liquid forms of money like saving deposit, time deposit, other forms of financial asset. So option 2 is correct. Then the term narrow money typically covers the most liquid form of money. Narrow money, most liquid form like M1. So this is correct. Narrow money includes the most liquid forms of money such as currency in circulation, demand deposits, checking amount. So it is also correct. Then option number 4, narrow money is typically denoted as M1 and it is a subset of broad money. Yes, it is true. Narrow money include the narrow money in M1 and it is a subset of broad money. So this is correct. Narrow money M1 is a subset of broad money and it includes the most liquid asset. So here option 4 is also correct. So 2, 3, 4 are correct. So 2, 3, 4 all are correct in the option number C. Then question number 88, the euro currency market is the money market for currency in the European Union, inside the country, outside the country, or European countries with accepted euro as home currency. So according to question number 88, the euro currency market is a market for the currency outside the country where it is legal tender. So it is outside the country. So outside the country, the generally the euro currency market is a global money market that deals with currencies held in banks outside of their countries of origin. For example, you can say US dollar held in a bank in London are part of the euro currency market. So this market allows for the lending and borrowing of currencies outside their home countries, and it is not limited to the euro or European currencies. So option C is right option. According to the euro currency market is the money market of currency outside the country where it is legal tender. Then question number 89, the case of dumping in which a monopolist firm sells its commodity at a very low price or at a loss in the foreign market in order to drive out some competitors is dash dumping. There are mainly three types of dumping: predatory, persistent, sporadic, and other one is intermittent. So in which kind of dumping process, the case of dumping in which a monopolist firm sells its commodity at very low price or at a loss in the foreign market in order to drive out some competitors. So in the foreign market, the seller sell its product in very low price or in a loss to drive out some of the competitors. It is called as first one, predatory dumping. So the right option is predatory dumping. So what is predatory dumping? Predatory dumping occurs when a monopolist firm sells its product in a foreign market at a very low price sometimes even below cost, with the intention of drive competitors out of the market. So it generally occurs to drive out the competitors from the markets. Its main objective is the goal is to eliminate competitors and gain control over the market. Once the competitor are drive out, the firm can then raise prices to recover its losses and earn higher profit. So this is called as predatory dumping. Then second one is persistent dumping. Persistent means it occurs when a firm continuously sells its product at a lower price in the foreign market than its domestic market. So it continuously sells its product at a lower price. So its aim is to maintain or expand market shares in the foreign market over the long term. So this type of dumping reflects a sustained pricing strategy rather than a temporary tactic. So like we can say example like a company regularly sells its product cheaper abroad than at home to capture or maintain a significant share of the foreign market. Predatory is for some time, but persistence for a long period of time. Persistent dumping arises for a long period of time. Then third one is sporadic dumping. Sporadic dumping happens when a firm sells its excess production in a foreign market at a lower price on an occasional basis, offer to avoid a build-up of unsold inventory. So to sell the stock of the market, stock of the firm, he can sell like Diwali sale, buy one get one free, 50% offer, this type of offer to sell his inventory stock. The primary aim is to dispose of surplus goods that can be sold in the domestic market without affecting the prices at home. Like a company might occasionally sell excess inventory at discounted price in foreign market to clear stock that is not selling well domestically. So to clear stock is to sell its product at lower price. So it is called as sporadic dumping. And last one is intermittent dumping. What is it mean? Intermittent dumping, it is similar to sporadic dumping, but of course more frequently and not just limited to surplus production. The firm might dump product in the foreign market at lower price at irregular intervals. So it is not in a fixed time, irregular interval it sells its product at lower price in the foreign market. So the aim is to enter or remain in the foreign market during certain periods when the firm finds its advantage, often due to changes in demand and competition. Like you can take an example, a firm may engage in intermittent dumping by periodically offering lower prices in a foreign market to respond to temporary opportunity or to counteract short-term competition. So by comparing the summary, first, predatory dumping is about eliminate competitors through aggressive pricing. Then persistent dumping is a long-term strategy to maintain a strong presence in foreign market. Then sporadic dumping is about getting rid of excess inventory. Then intermittent dumping involves occasional low price to take advantage of market conditions. So these all are different kinds of dumping. Then question number 90. Rouleau's theorem states that a rise in the endowment of one factor, it rises the output of the commodity which uses the expanded factor intensively and reduces the output of the other commodity. So it is called as Rouleau's theorem. So it is Rouleau's theorem is a concept in the international trade theory, particularly related to the effects of change in factor endowments on the production of goods. According to the theorem, if the endowments of a factor of production like labor of capital increases, the output of the commodity that uses this factor more intensively, the commodity that relies more on expanded factor will rise. Then conversely, the output of the other commodity which uses the less care factor less intensively will decrease. So in exchange, an increase in the endowment of one factor of production will lead to the increase in the production of the good that intensively uses the expanded factor and a decrease in the production of the good that doesn't use these factors as intensively. So option C is right. Then question number 91, when a nation imposes an import tariff, the nation's offer curve will. So when a nation imposes an import tariff, so a tariff on import goods, then the nation's offer curve will. So the nation's offer curve will be shift away from the axis measuring its export commodities. So option A is right. How? The offer curve is in international trade shows the quantity of export of a country is willing to offer at different levels of terms of trade or relative price of imports and exports. So import tariff, it effect imposing an import tariff increases the domestic price of imported goods. This tends to reduce the volume of the imports and can lead to a rise in the domestic price level. As a result, the country will adjust its trade offer to maximize the benefit from its change. Then shift in the offer curve. So since the tariff makes import more expensive, the relative price of the nation's export in terms of import becomes more favorable. This causes the country to offer more export in exchange for the same amount of imports. Consequently, the offer curve shift away from the axis measuring imports because of the country's now low willing to export more for a given level of import and towards the axis measuring exports. So option A is right. When a nation imposes an import tariff, the nation's offer curve will shift away from the axis measuring its export commodity. Then question number 92, the degree of monopoly power enjoyed by a firm with perfectly elastic demand. So the degree of monopoly power enjoyed by a firm with perfectly elastic demand is 0, negative, infinity or 1. So the degree of monopoly power enjoyed by a firm with perfectly elastic demand, when the demand is perfectly elastic, then there is no monopoly power, because when a slightly increase in price, the buyers can shift from one position to another position. So when the demand is perfectly elastic, there is no degree of monopoly power, because the buyers can shift from one to another buyer. So here in case of perfectly elastic demand, the demand curve is horizontal, indicating that consumers will buy any quantity of goods they can buy at the given price, but none at a higher price. If price slightly increase, they don't buy these goods. Therefore, with perfectly elastic demand, the firm has no monopoly power, as it cannot influence the price and must sell the market price. So must sell at the market price. So hence the degree of monopoly power is 0. So option A is right. Then question number 93, according to the Marxian theory, a fall in the rate of profit may be due to. So according to Karl Marx, when a fall in the rate of profit, why a rate of profit fall? Due to a rise in the rate of surplus value, or fall in the organic composition of capital, or rise in the organic composition of capital. So according to Marxian theory, Marx says that a fall in the rate of profit may due to a rise in the organic composition of capital. When a rise in the organic composition of capital, there is a fall in the rate of profit. How? According to Marxian theory, in Marxist economics, the organic composition of capital refers to the ratio of constant capital to variable capital. So it is the ratio of constant capital to variable capital. Constant capital means like machinery, materials, and variable capital like labor. So a rise in this ratio means that more capital is invested in machinery and materials compared to labor. Since surplus value is generated by labor, a higher organic composition of capital tends to lead to a lower rate of profit, as a surplus value is distributed over a large amount of constant capital. So when a rise in the organic composition of capital, a fall in the rate of profit arises. Option C is right. Then question number 94, if C is equal to 1200 plus 10Q and R is equal to 15Q, the break even level of output is. So C means TC, total cost, and R means total revenue. So break even point where total cost is equal to total revenue. So this is the point of break even when TC is equal to TR. TC is equal to 1200 plus 10Q is equal to 15Q. TC is equal to TR. So 15 minus 10 is equal to 5Q. 5Q is equal to 1200. This implies Q is equal to 1200 by 5. So 5 to the 10, then 20. 5 for the 20, and next rest 0. So 2 for 0. So Q value is 2 for 0. So break even level of output is, Q means output, total quantity, output is 240. So here 240 is the right option, option number 240. Then question number 95. According to Walras law, if the sum of excess demand for n-1 market is positive, then the excess demand function for the nth market will be, when n-1 excess demand for n-1 is positive, then n market demand is positive, 0, negative or infinite. N market demand is, it is negative. When n-1 positive, n is equal to negative. How it will negative? According to the Walras law, the sum of the excess demand across all market must equal to 0. So assuming all markets are considered together, this means that if the sum of excess demand for n-1 market is positive, then the excess demand for the nth market must be negative in order to satisfy the condition that the total excess demand across all markets are 0. So positive negative plus positive is equal to 0, negative positive 0, then thus the correct answer is negative. So C is the right option. Then question number 96. According to natural rate of hypothesis. So according to natural rate of hypothesis, what happens? It happens fluctuation in the aggregate demand have only short run effect on output and unemployment. So according to natural rate of hypothesis, fluctuation in the aggregate demand have only short run effect on output and unemployment. How? Now according to the natural rate of hypothesis, fluctuation in aggregate demand have short run effect on output and unemployment, but in the long run, output and unemployment return to their natural levels. So natural rate of unemployment, which is determined by structural factors such as technology, labor market policies, demographics. So here fluctuation in the aggregate demand have only short run effect on the output and unemployment. So C is right. Then question number 97. For a positively skewed distribution, mean median mode, when mean is equal to median is equal to mode, it is symmetric distribution. When mean greater than median mode, it is positive distribution, positively skewed distribution. When mean is less than median less than mode, it is negative skewed distribution. So option D is right, positively skewed, mean greater than median greater than mode. Then question number 98. Which of the following is not true about R square? So about R square, which is not true? So option number 1 is the predicted R square is used to indicate how well a regression model predicts response for new observation. This is correct according to R square. Then it is a summary measure that tells how well the sample regression line fits the data. This is also correct according to R square. Then its limit are -1 to 1. No, the limit of R square is not from -1 1, it is from 0 to 1. The limit is from 0 to 1, not from -1 to 1. So option 3 is incorrect, because in fact the coefficient of determination R square measure the proportion of the variance in the dependent variable that is predictable from the independent variables. So its value ranges from 0 to 1, and a negative value for R square is not possible in standard regression setting. Although adjusted R square can be negative in certain cases, but R square cannot be negative. So here option 3 is incorrect, only option 1 and 2. So question asks for not true about R square. So not true, only 3. So only 3 is not true. So only 3 given in the option number C. Then question number 99, in which year masala bonds were issued for the first time in India? For the first time in India, masala bonds issued in 2016. In 2016, masala bonds introduced in India. What is masala bonds? Now, masala bonds are rupee denominated bonds issued in international market by Indian entities. These bonds allow Indian borrowers to raise funds in the foreign market while protecting themselves from currency fluctuation, as the repayment of these bonds is made in Indian rupees rather than a foreign currency. So the first masala bonds were issued by the International Finance Corporation in 2016, making a significant development in India's financial market and expanding the options for external fundraising. So here 2016 is right. Then question number 100, the committee set up by the government to review the FRBM Act. FRBM means Fiscal Responsibility Budget Management Act. To review the FRBM Act, which committee formed? R. Gandhi Committee, Rangarajan Committee, Rakesh Singh Committee, or NK Singh Committee? So to review FRBM Act, NK Singh, Nandkishore Singh committee set up. So D is right. Then question number 101, the Nobel Prize in Economics was awarded to Des in 2021 for his empirical contribution to labor economics. So empirical contribution to labor economics. Which economist? D. Englist, David Card, Emblems, or Estro-Duflo. So according to the question, empirical contribution to labor economics given to David Card in 2011. So option number B is right. Then here is a game theory question in the following payoff matrix. This is a payoff matrix of player 1 and player 2. So we have to find out both players have dominant strategy, or player has dominant strategy, B doesn't, or player B dominant strategy, play A doesn't, or both players have the dominant strategy. So here in the question, first if we look from player 1 side, there is 2 outcomes, top and bottom. From player 2, left and right choices. So if player 1 and player 1 to choose top, and player 2 choose left 6-6, then 9-4, then 4-9, then 5-5. So these are the strategies from both side of player 1 and player 2. We have to choose either both players have dominant strategy, or A or B, or both player have not any dominant strategy. So first we have to look from player A side. So if player from A side, if player B, first if player B choose left, player A can choose top. So if player B choose here, player B choose left, then player A choose top. So getting 6, player B choose left and player A choose top, then getting 6. And if player A choose bottom, then getting 4. So here if player A choose top, then getting 6. If player A choose bottom, then getting 4. So here player A prefer what? Greater. So top, that is 6 is greater than, here 6 is greater than 4. So here player A choose 6. So player A choose 6. Then if player B choose right, if player B choose right, then player A choose either 9 or bottom 5. So 9 or 5. If player B choose right, then player A may choose 9 or 5. So according to 9 or 5, which is greater? 9 is greater. So here A prefer top, that is 9. Then we can so here player A has a dominant strategy, that is top, because from player A side, first he choose 6-6 from 6, and from 6 4, he choose 6, and from 9 5 he choose 9. So here both are from the top side. So players A's dominant strategy is top 6 9. So now we can see from player 2 side, player B side. So if player A choose top, so if player A choose top, then player B may choose left or right. So if player B choose left, then getting 6, and if right, if player B choose right, then getting 4. Here if he get 6, then it's 6 or 4. Here for player B there are two options, either he will choose 6 or 4. So he either choose left or right. Left is 6 and right is 4. So here he choose more. So here he choose 6. Then if player A choose bottom, then player B either choose left or right. So here option are 9 and 5. From option 9 and 5 he has to choose 9 because 9 is bigger. So 9 is greater than 5. So here he choose 9. So from the first side he choose 6. This is also from left, and from the second side he choose 9. This is also from the left side. So thus player B has a dominant strategy, that is left. So player B's dominant strategy is left, and player A's dominant strategy is top, because player A both top side, here he gets 6 and 9. So 6 and 9 are from top side, and according to player B these are from 6. First one is 6 and second one is 9. 6 and 9 both are from the left side. So player A's strategy, dominant strategy is top, and player B's dominant strategy is left. So top and left. So conclusion, both player have dominant strategy. So therefore the correct answer is both player has dominant strategy. So both player have dominant strategy. Option A is right here. Both player have dominant strategy. Then next question 103, peak load pricing refers to the charging of. So what is peak load pricing? Peak load pricing, it refers to the charging of a higher price during period of peak demand and a lower price during the period of off peak. So in the season, so if we take example like in rainy season, the demand for umbrella or raincoat may rise, so the price of umbrella rises. So a higher price during period of peak demand and a lower price during period of off peak demand. So in the winter season the demand for umbrella decreases, so in winter season we may decrease the price of umbrella, but in the winter season we can rise the price of blanket because the demand for blanket rises. So it is called as peak load pricing. So peak load pricing refers to the charging higher price during period of peak demand and lower pricing during period of off-peak demand. So this is pricing strategy is often used in industries where demand fluctuates significantly, such as like in electricity, transportation, telecommunication. Peak load pricing are arises. So option D is right here. Then question number 104, which of the following statement is false with regard to the Slutsky substitution effect? So according to Slutsky substitution effect, which is correct? First one is, it is a larger than Higgsian substitution effect. There are two substitution effect, Slutsky and Higgs. So Higgsian, so Slutsky substitution effect is larger than Higgsian substitution effect. It is right. Then it leads to a demand curve which is more elastic than the Higgsian demand curve. Yes, the demand curve for Slutsky is more elastic than Higgsian demand curve. It is also right. Then third option, consumption is on a different indifference curve than before the price change. Yes, in the Slutsky substitution effect, consumption is on a different indifference curve, but in Higgsian it is called as compensated demand curve, but in Slutsky it is on a different indifference curve. Higgsian same indifference curve, but in Slutsky it is on a different indifference curve. So this is also right. Then Fourth one is, it is given by a movement along the same indifference curve. No, movement along the same indifference curve, it is Hicksian demand curve, but a different indifference curve is Slutsky. So here option D is incorrect. So we have to find out which is false. So here option D is false here, because when first option Hicksian it is larger than the substitution effect. Yes, the Slutsky substitution effect can be larger than the Hicksian substitution effect, because the Slutsky effect includes both a substitution and income effect. Then second one, it leads to a demand curve which is more elastic than the Hicksian demand curve. This is also true, because the Slutsky demand curve incorporates the income effect, which often leads to greater elasticity compared to the Hicksian demand curve, which isolate the substitution effect. Then third option, it is on a different indifference curve, because the Slutsky substitution effect adjusts for changes in real income, which leads to consumption on different indifference curve after the price change. Then it is a movement from the same indifference curve. No, this is false. The Slutsky substitution effect results in movement to a different indifference curve, not along the same indifference curve. So it is compensates for the income change after the price variation. So here option D is incorrect. Then question number 105, the type of unemployment experienced by a college graduate when he or she looks for employment immediately after graduation. So after graduation he have to find job but cannot get any kind of job. So it is called as frictional unemployment. So from one place to another, or from after completing education to get a job, the time duration is called frictional unemployment. The type of unemployment experienced by a college graduate is called as frictional unemployment. It occurs when individuals are temporarily unemployed while transfer between jobs or entering the workforce for the first time. This includes recent graduate searching for the jobs, first job, or people switching careers. These kind of unemployment are found in frictional unemployment. Cyclical, due to change in the business cycle of the economy. Structural, due to change in the overall structure of the economy, people are get unemployed. Then technical, due to change in the technology, some people are get unemployed. So these are different types, but according to question, frictional unemployment is right. Then question number 106, accession and reason. First one is accession is the crowding out effect. Crowding out effect suggests rising public sector spending drives down private sector spending. When public sector spending rise, private sector spending decreases. It is called as crowding out effect. This is true. Because the accession crowding out effect, which posits that increased government spending can lead to a reduction in the private sector spending, particularly through mechanisms like increased interest rate due to government borrowing. And reason is when a large government such as the US increases its borrowing and sets in motion a chain of events that result in the curtaining of private sector spending. When government sector spending increases, private sector spending decreases. This is also correct. So it describes how government borrowing can lead to higher interest rate, thereby crowding out private sector spending. So both A and R are correct, and R is the correct explanation of A. So here option A is right according to question number 106. Then question number 107, which one of the following ensure full employment in the classical model? So according to classical model, which of the following ensure full employment? Equation of exchange, portfolio adjustment, constant velocity of circulation, wage price flexibility. Yes, according to classical model, full employment ensures wage price flexibility. So in classical model of economics, wage price flexibility is the mechanism that ensure full employment. According to classical theory, if there is unemployment, wages and prices will adjust until labor and resources are fully employed. So it creates full employment in the economy. If there are unemployment, then wages and prices will adjust until labor and resources are fully employed. So here wage price flexibility is right. Then question number 108, the rational expectation hypothesis implies that when macroeconomic policy changes, the way expectations are formed will change. When macroeconomic policy changes, then the way of expectation are formed will change according to rational expectation hypothesis, because the rational expectation hypothesis implies that people from their expectation about the future based on all available information, and they use their expectation to make informed decision. When macroeconomic policy changes, the hypothesis suggests that the way expectation are formed will change. So this is because according to rational expectation hypothesis, individual adjust their expectation to account for new information, including changes in macroeconomic policy. They incorporate these changes into their decision making process immediately, reflecting the updated expectation in their behavior. So here option B is right. Then question number 109, if p is equal to 0.8, n is equal to 100, then the standard deviation of a binomial distribution. So here standard deviation of a binomial distribution formula is standard deviation of binomial distribution sigma is equal to n into p into 1 minus p whole root, n into p into 1 minus p is whole root. So here n is equal to number of trials, p is equal to probability of success, and 1 minus p indicate probability of failure. So here data given n is equal to 100 into p value is 0.8 and 1 minus 0.8 root. So here 100 into 0.8 into 1 minus 0.8 is equal to 0.2. So 100 into 0.8 into 0.2, that is 100 into 8 to just 16, 0.16. So 100 into 0.16, its total value is equal to 16. So root over of 16 is equal to 4. So here right option is 4. If p is equal to 0.8, n is equal to 100, then the standard deviation of the binomial distribution is 4. Option number C. Then 110 question, in order to avoid dummy variable trap for each quantitative regressor, the number of dummy variables introduced must be, the number of dummy variables must be 1 less than the categories of that variable. Dummy variables is 1 less than the categories of that variable, because to avoid this is because including 1 less dummy variable, then the number of categories ensure that the dummy variables are not perfectly collinear with each other, allowing you to avoid redundancy in the model. So one of the categories will be used as the reference group, and the coefficient of the dummy variables will represent deviations from this reference group. So here option B is right. Then 111, which of the following tests are useful in detecting heteroscedasticity? So which test is useful in heteroscedasticity? First, Durbin-Watson D test. Durbin-Watson D test, it is used for test of autocorrelation. So first one is Durbin-Watson test, it is used for autocorrelation. Then Spearman rank correlation test, it is used for heteroscedasticity. Then Goldfield coordinate state, it is also used for heteroscedasticity. Then Park test we can also include it in heteroscedasticity, because first Goldfield coordinate, this test checks for heteroscedasticity by comparing the variance by variance of residuals in two different subset of the group. So Goldfield coordinate test is right here. Then Park test, this text examines the relationship between the square residual and the fitted values of the detected heteroscedasticity. So these two tests are detecting for heteroscedasticity. Then Durbin-Watson for autocorrelation. Then Spearman's rank correlation test is used to access the relationship between two variables, but it is not specifically designed to detecting heteroscedasticity, but we can take it as heteroscedasticity. So here option C and D are correct, and we can also include the option number B. So here which of the tests are useful in detecting autocorrelation? B, C and D. So answer is B, C and D, but there is single option. So if the question may be asked for which of the following test is not useful in detecting heteroscedasticity. If the question asks for not useful in detecting heteroscedasticity, then answer will be Darwin version, because it is used for the autocorrelation, but these all are used for heteroscedasticity. So option B, C, D are right. Then question number 112, which of the following are the objectives of IMF, International Monetary Fund, objectives of International Monetary Fund? So first one is to promote international monetary cooperation, this is right. Then to ensure balanced international trade, this is also right according to IMF. Then to provide long term capital to member countries, no, this is incorrect. Then to ensure exchange rate stability, yes, this is right, exchange rate stability. So here option 1, 2, 4 all are correct according to the IMF. So main aim of IMF to promote international monetary cooperation, then ensure exchange rate stability, provide long term capital member countries. To provide long term capital member countries, this is incorrect, because IMF provide not long term, short and medium term financial support, not long term capital. So here this is short term and medium term capital provide, but not long term capital. So here option 3 is incorrect. So option 1, 2, 4 are in the option number C. So C is right. Then next question 113. A researcher is interested in how weight influence self-esteem level in adults. Which research method will be most appropriate for this study? So a researcher interested in how weight of a person influence his self-esteem level in adults. So if he is overweight or underweight, then how this influence his self-esteem? So it is what type of research? Historical research, descriptive survey method, experimental method, or ex post factor method. So in this is not historical, not descriptive survey, not experimental, this is ex post factor method, because after he is getting weight, overweight or underweight, then what impact to their lifestyle? It is called as ex post facto method. The ex post facto method is indeed used to study relationship between variables when experimental manipulation is not possible. It involves examining existing condition and determining how they relate to one another. So in the context of studying how weight influence self-esteem level in adults, this method would be appropriate, because it allows researcher to observe and analyze existing data on weight and self-esteem without manipulating variables. So this method is useful for exploring causal relationship based on observational data. So option D is correct. Then other historical method used for focus on historical data, events not applicable to this research. Then experimental research, it involves manipulation variables to establish causation, which might not be feasible or ethical for this study. Then ex post factor looks like studying causal relations, so this is correct. So here option D is correct. Then question number 114, as per the budget estimate of the fiscal deficit of Kerala for the financial year 2021 to 22, so budget fiscal deficit in 2021-22 according to data it is 30,698 crores. Then next question, regression models containing a mixture of quantitative and qualitative variables are called. So it is a mixture of quantitative and qualitative variables. The mixture of quantitative and qualitative variables are called as ANCOVA, analysis of covariance, ANCOVA. So option A is right, ANCOVA. So ANCOVA is used to examine the influence of one or more categorically independent variables on the continuous dependent variables while controlling for the effect of the other continuous variables. So this method blends regression analysis with ANOVA techniques to analyze the relationship between variables. So it is called as ANCOVA, analysis of covariance. Then next question, Global Investment Meet in Kerala 2020 was titled as Global Investment Meet in Kerala 2020. It was titled as ASCEND 2020 Kerala, ASCEND, ASCEND 2020 Kerala. Option B is right. Then question 117, internal and external balance of an economy refers to a situation where there is full employment and balance of payment is 0. When internal and external balance of an economy, when internal and external balance in an economy, then it is called as balance of payment is 0. Then it is called as full employment, because internal balance means achieving full employment and price stability, while external balance refers to having a stable balance of payments, ideally with a balanced accounts, neither deficit nor surplus. So it is stable balance of payment account. So full employment and balance of payment is 0. So internal and external balance of an economy, it refers to a situation where there is full employment and balance of payment is 0. Option C is right. Then 118, the king demand curve of an oligopolist is inelastic in the upper portion but elastic in the lower portion. No, in king demand curve, upper portion is more elastic and lower portion is less elastic. Upper portion is more elastic, then a lower portion is less elastic. So upper portion is more elastic, lower portion is less elastic. Inelastic in the upper portion. No, in upper portion it is elastic, and in lower portion it is less elastic, or but elastic. So it is the opposite. Then fourth one is elastic in the upper portion. Yes, more elastic in the upper portion, and inelastic in the upper. No, this is same. Elastic in the upper portion and inelastic in the lower portion. It is the right option, right? Inelastic in the lower portion. Elastic in the upper portion because the upper portion is elastic and the lower portion is inelastic. So elastic in the upper portion and inelastic in the lower portion. So this is the opposite. Option A is totally opposite, inelastic in the upper portion. So option A is incorrect. Option D may be incorrect if it is written as lower portion. So these all options are incorrect. If we take lower portion, then the option D will be correct, because king demand curve, upper portion is elastic and lower portion is inelastic. Then question number 119, in the equation C is equal to A plus BYD, the behavioral coefficient is CBAYD. So here in the question asks for first one. Here C is equal to A plus BYD. What indicates C? C indicates total consumption, and A is the autonomous consumption, the level of consumption when disposable income is 0. A indicate autonomous consumption, and B indicate MPC, marginal propensity to consume, and YD indicate disposable income. So here the behavioral coefficient is the MPC, or marginal propensity to consume, which shows how consumption changes with a change in disposable income. So here B, MPC is the behavioral coefficient. So option B is right. Small b indicate MPC, marginal propensity to consume. Then today's last question, the presence of externalities are likely to lead to an inefficient allocation of resources, because when externality exists, it creates inefficient allocation of resources because the markets fail to fully price of the external effect. When externality exists, market fail. So externality occurs when the cost or benefits of a transaction affects third parties who are not involved in the transaction, because these external effects are not reflected in the market price. Market do not allocate resource efficiently. For example, negative externality like pollution results in cost that are not borne by the producer or consumer, leading to overproduction and inefficiency. So conversely, positive externality may result in an underproduction. So here in comparison in the question 120, the market fail to fully price the external effect is the right option. So D is the right. So this is all about for the today's session. I hope you like the video. If you like, please like, share with your friends. That's why all are getting benefited from this video. If you do not watch the previous videos, please watch, and who don't subscribe the channel, please subscribe the channel for more such updates. And in the next part we are going to discuss 2022's January Kerala set. So stay connected with this video. Thank you so much for watching.